You must know the word fossil fuels. So, what is a fossil? Fossil is that is formed by the dead remains of animals and plants. So, we are going to see that what are the fossil fuels that are found naturally, because fossil fuels cannot be made in industries or chemically, because fossil fuels तब बनते हैं जब animals and humans when they decay, animals, humans and plants when we decay, we are buried inside the mud और हम हमारे ऊपर जो है there's a lot of decomposition of the microorganisms, and due to the high pressures eventually over thousands or millions of years ago, years after, हमारी जो body है that converts into fossils. अब fossil fuels की example 3 हैं. First is petroleum, the second is coal, and the third is natural gas. Now, first of all, we are going to see what is actually petroleum. Petroleum is crude oil. हम crude oil को petroleum भी कहते हैं, and crude oil is known as petroleum and petroleum is known as crude oil. Remember one thing, that the petrol that you use in your cars is not petroleum. Petroleum is the raw form of petrol. Petroleum has a lot of other mixtures too. पेट्रोलियम के अंदर सिर्फ पेट्रोल नहीं है, पेट्रोल उसका एक फ्रैक्शन है, एक मतलब एक वन ऑफ द मिक्सचर के अंदर से उसका एक पार्ट है जो कि हम उसको एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं, वी रिफाइन इट एंड देन वी यूज़ इट फॉर डिफरेंट पर्पसेस. तो सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे पेट्रोलियम के बारे में. What happens that millions of years ago, when the plants, algae, bacteria, they died, they buried onto the seabed. And when they buried into the seabed, eventually क्या हुआ कि seas जो हैं they started drying up. और आपको ये पता है कि जब वो चीज़ ड्राई हो जाती है and you are buried inside the earth's crust, so you are subjected to a lot of pressure and high temperature because of the inner core of the earth. So when you are subjected to very high pressure and temperature, so what actually happens, your body, your generally, not your body, I'm talking about generally, that plants, animals, सारी चीज़ें decay करना शुरू हो जाती हैं, क्योंकि आपको पता है soil के अंदर a lot of microorganisms are present which cannot be seen by naked eye. तो क्या होता है कि आपकी बॉडी जो डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर है वो सारा का सारा डिके करता है, और वो डिके करने के बाद ये फॉसिल्स बनाता है. वन ऑफ देम इज पेट्रोलियम, नेक्स्ट इज नेचुरल गैस, एंड द थर्ड इज कोल. You know that coal is formed over hundreds and millions of years after the dead organic matter is buried into the earth's crust. So when we see the earth's crust, on the bottom we find petroleum, then we have natural gas, or coal is found on top. Now the question comes, how do we extract these organic compounds or fossil fuels? So there are oil rigs. Oil rigs क्या होते हैं कि आप समुंदर के अंदर, there you can say there is a factory that drill pipe into the earth's surface and it takes out oil and natural gas. और जो आपके घर पे the gas that you cook food on, what type of gas is that is known as natural gas, which is commonly known as, उसका chemical name क्या है, methane, और वैसे हम उसको आम ज़बान में कहते हैं natural gas. So this is an introduction of to petroleum and natural gas. Now the question arises, if petroleum has a lot of other substances dissolved into it, how do we refine it? How do we take the things that we need, उसमें से हम अपनी जो पसंद की चीज़ें हैं, और फॉर एग्जांपल हम उनको फ्रैक्शंस कहते हैं, हम उन फ्रैक्शंस को कैसे उसमें से एक्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे और कैसे रिफाइन करेंगे? तो बेसिकली हम पेट्रोलियम की करते हैं फ्रैक्शनल डिस्टिलेशन. We are going to study fractional distillation in detail in the next video, but for now you should know that this is a technique in which we separate the crude oil, that is the unrefined petroleum, and जब हम उसको refine करते हैं तो उसमें से हमें सिर्फ petrol नहीं मिलता, we find a lot of other fractions also which are equally useful as petrol. And regarding this video, if you have any query, do let me know in the comment section.